Hey, hey, happy Tuesday, private group. Tuesday? Yes, Tuesday. For some reason, I thought it was Wednesday, but I was thinking about Wednesday all day, but it's Tuesday. Trying to get all our stuff wrapped up before people head out on vacation. So super excited. I got an order in, so I really wanted to put this design together. So I gave you a tidbit sneak peek of this Jack Frost snow cone wreath. Partially in part because lately, in lieu of rain, we've kind of had frosty mornings. So every morning we wake up and everything is just coated with frost and it looks beautiful. So this entire design just all came through. So I thought, you know what, let's put this together. Let's get this one out and in the shop, because even though we should honestly be wrapping up Christmas and moving on to the other holidays, which is winter every day, New Year's, if you're going to do anything with New Year's wreath, Valentine's Day, and Mardi Gras, those are the directions we should be headed for, because this is November. So if you think about it, December, January, February, we should be doing, we should be done. So I think this is going to be my last winter, and then I'm going to go into some everyday decor, and then just kind of reassess my shop, see where I'm at as far as inventory goes. But I really wanted to make this winter one because this takes you all the way through. I think it's like the second or third week into February. So all of these supplies, most of them that I'm using today, like all the ribbon except for one, the Deco mesh, the sign, the tubing, all came from Craft Outlet. So if you love this design and want to replicate it, that's where you're going to want to go. So, let me make sure I have the group pulled up so I can read comments. Let me refresh that so it should change. Here we go. Alrighty, so how many of you have plans for Thanksgiving? How many of you are leaving town versus how many of you are staying home and maybe having holiday visitors? Or how many of you are just staying home and you're just going to avoid all the hustle and bustle of this weekend? So, hi Anna, hi Debbie, hi Cheryl, hi Susan, hi Gail, welcome back. Me and Gail had our own one-on-one pretty much for the Wreath of the Month group, because we just went early just to kind of wrap that one up. So it was funny. It was just her and I, for the most part, doing the one-on-one. Hi, Valerie. She said, I'm staying home. I just returned from Arizona. Kathy Nonclerg says, hi, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. So happy early Thanksgiving. And for those of you brave enough to venture out on Black Friday, you have my prayers. I avoid Black Friday with the plague. I am the Black Friday online shopper. So, color-coded theme for our pipe cleaners are going to be royal blue, light blue, and white. Let me get rid of, what happened to my phone? Hold on a second. Get it back in. Oh, Lordy, just go Face ID. Sometimes Apple phones can be so, they need to go back to Apple school, is what I was going to say. So, we are using this new kind of mesh. I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is called Ruffle. What is it called? Ruffle Edge Mesh. I don't know. It's just basically like metallic deco mesh with ribbon in it. And this has a light blue with white snowflakes on it. Believe it or not, I was able to cut the entire thing with a wood burning tool. So that's always a bonus. And we're going to go ahead and start. We're just going to ruffle because this particular mesh is designed for the ruffle technique. And thankfully, this particular mesh, unlike the one I just used, this is a metallic mesh, so it's a little nicer, a little softer. You don't have the value mesh feel to this. So you guys know me. I start in the center of my wreath frame. This one is 6 pipe cleaners on the inside, 12 pipe cleaners on the outside, grand total of 18. And I'm just laying this in, finished edges towards the middle. And I haven't decided if I'm taking my pipe cleaners off. I think I am. at least on the 6 middle, because the sign is a 10 by 10, and then with our bow, we're just not going to have space. Let's just be totally honest. So I'm going to snip this off, tuck the tip back on the inside, and remember our center in every single one of these sections is designed to fill the 2 outer sections. So these are all cut to 20-inch pieces. Let me swipe my comments. There they go. Let's see. Debbie, you're going to the Pomona Mining Company for Thanksgiving dinner? I love that place. I forget that Debbie's out there in my old stomping grounds in California. So we love going to that place for dinner. It's beautiful. Sits up on the top of a mountain. It's nice in the fact that it's way up on top, but you're overlooking the freeway is my only downside to that. But it's a great place to go. So we fluff this one out on the outside. We're finishing, this is kind of like the right side closure of that section. So remember, we take this and we kind of take the one that's next to it, opening the new section, and kind of fill for it. Because as we go in between the sections, there is no center one. I guess we could get really super crazy and we could cut our mesh so there is ones that go in the center. But then that would take you a roll, like a roll and a quarter, which is, we try not to waste. Because supplies are so expensive now, I'm trying to avoid the waste. So this one is going to, let me get this one back up. I pulled it down for some reason. We're going to take, overlap, and move our pipe cleaners, remember, to the left so they stay out of the way. And then we're ready to do the middle of our section. I saw, who was it? Audrey says, staying home for Thanksgiving. Susan says, happy Thanksgiving. Kay says, Black Friday, here I come. So you are one of those brave souls who venture out. Audrey says, staying home for Thanksgiving. So we are actually going to friends that are hosting Thanksgiving dinner, and we are going to host the Christmas dinner so we don't have to cook twice, and neither do they. So we're meeting with friends for Thanksgiving, and then we will come home. So that's off and running. Let's see. Hi, Alita. Welcome. Diana says we're staying home. Her sisters and her daughters come here on Thanksgiving. That's always nice. I love it when family comes. Since our kids moved out, that kind of went away. When everyone moved away, that just kind of went away. So we missed that. Are your kids coming home for Christmas? Cheryl asked. My oldest is coming for Christmas, and then my youngest is coming out here for her birthday in January. So we'll have them here for 2 different holidays, but my youngest just started a job, so she's unable to get the break for Christmas. Low man on the totem pole, so we totally understand. But her manager says she could either go before or after, so we're going to have her come for her birthday and then just take her out for her birthday, and we'll send all their stuff to them in Oklahoma for the holidays. They'll stay home. She's just not getting over COVID part 2. Let's see what else. Hi, Linda. She says, can you do this method with 1 roll of 10-inch mesh? Yes. So 18 pieces cut at 20 inches uses the entire roll with nothing left over. So that is the beauty of using 20-inch pieces when you're doing 18 pipe cleaners, is that you will have exactly enough, provided there's no splicing of your mesh in the middle. to do this and have no leftovers. So, yes, isn't this mesh beautiful? I think this was the last roll they had, which is why I didn't get more than one roll. So, loving this color. It works out perfect for the Jack Frost. I love that color too, Kelly. Melissa says going to my aunt's for Thanksgiving, but up early on Friday for work. Oh no, poor thing. Shell says maybe you will have snow. I know it's in the forecast, I just don't know which day. So on Thanksgiving though, it is supposed to be sunny but cold. So we have some rain hitting us on, we had it today, which is beautiful. And I think we have it tomorrow a little bit, and then it blows out for Thursday, and then we wait for the next big system to come in. So for Washington, it's been their driest November ever, which we hate, because the reason why we moved up here was to have a very wet winter. So we don't want to hear that it's like, it's the driest November on record for Washington. Like, please don't do that. Let's see. Hi, Peggy. How are you? Cheryl, yes, loving rain. I will never get tired of the rain. I lived for 58 years in Southern California, so if I live another 58 years in rainy Washington, I don't think I will ever get tired of the rain. I am still out there doing whatever I would be doing that over the weekend if the weather holds up. I'll get my my garland up around the windows because the craft outlet order showed up, which is I always have to order new 21-inch mesh so that goes into the garland so it looks nice and pretty. Yes, Peggy, I'm starting to think that I did. That's what I was telling Steve. We didn't want to bring the curse of California to Washington, so thankfully it didn't start that way, so maybe this is just a fluke. Right, Linda? She said, just hold on, it's coming. But is this not abnormal for Washington? Because Linda's up here in Washington. Is this not weird to not have rain? And the last time we came to Seattle to visit, it was a freak thing too, where they're like, oh my God, we were here for a week because I really wanted to see the rain. Pretty sad when you go on vacation to seek the weather. But I guess people go to California and Florida for the weather, so why can't I go to Washington for the rain? It rained one day out of 7 or 8 days that we were here, and then everyone was saying, it's so abnormal. We never have nice weather like this. And I was like, we need to go home. I didn't come here to see sun. I came here to see the rain. Okay. I wish you all could see the details in the ribbon. The ribbon is just beautiful. Oh, we're about 2/3 of the way through. 2/3. I have to go to the grocery store tomorrow because we are responsible for bringing appetizers. So we're gonna do like shrimp cocktail and chips and salsa and veggie dip. It is for your region. My sister goes to Arizona to get out of the rain and when... Okay. Right. See? So we moved here. Did we bring the drought climate here? I'm hoping not. I don't want it to be. Okay, 2 more sections and then we should be finished. And then we could, this is going to have a lot to it. So this mesh is called Ruffle Edge Mesh. I kid you not. This is exactly what it says. Let's see. Can you guys see that? Ruffle Edge Mesh. That's all. I thought it would be Ribbon Edge Mesh, because that makes more sense. And all the other stuff that has the foils, they call that border mesh. So go figure. Who comes up with the names? This should be Ribbon Edge. Okay. Need to make sure we have this one under so we can lay it over, lean to the left. It was hard not to like trend into this teal pattern on the sign. They call it winterberry. So it sounds good. Snow cones. I'd have a snow cone today. Vanilla ice, winterberry, and peppermint. Sounds really good. See how full. So pretty though, because you still get the sparklies of all the metallics. And it's not very cold outside right now. I think it's in the 40s. I know for some of you, you're like, that's cold. I would have thought that too, coming from California. Now that I'm here, I'm like, no, that was a nice day. I came outside at, wasn't even wearing a jacket at first. I think I have acclimated. It is official. I just want to see one of those atmospheric rivers again. We had one of those a couple weeks ago where it rained like nonstop for like a week. Ugh. It's so beautiful because we traveled on some of the highways run alongside rivers or creeks, and when it rains that much, it's just crazy the amount of water that is in these runoff areas, and the flood level had raised so crazy that you could be right alongside the edge of the highway and watching the water just kind of like flow in these huge, fast water rapids. It's beautiful. So that's like the main road we take into town. It goes along the river. So it's beautiful. I don't ever take advantage of, like, I don't take for granted the fact that we live here. The commute is just beautiful. And I don't even care that it takes me an hour to get to my closest Hobby Lobby. It's just a gorgeous drive. Right, Diane? It is super pretty because you get all those metallic foils, and some of the ribbon that we're going to be using pretty much matches this to a T. I'll show you the ribbon here in just a second. Let's get all this in. We just have 2 more pieces. I was cleaning up earlier, trying to get stuff organized, trying to still get stuff sorted by holiday. It's kind of hard sometimes because Valentine can bleed over to Christmas. This is definitely winter, but it could also be Christmas. Okay. Let's see. Push this one out of the way. I think we're safe on Black Friday here. We're so in such a small city that I think the Black Friday rushes would only be in the big cities or bigger cities. And I'm trying really, really hard this year to support small business. So that's my goal. Okay. We are all done with our mesh. There it is. It just looks so beautiful. Looks like, ooh, like the way that the pattern it is, you can see like the dark blue rim in here, and then it's edged with the white, and then it's all like in the center with the white too. So super pretty. Okay, let me show you the ribbons. So check these out. I didn't separate them by, I should have, by how they're going on the wreath. So we have the 2.5 inch. This is a light blue, dark blue plaid with white polka dots and fur edge. And then we're doing Christmas balls on like a silver and white metallic. Both, like I said, both of those are from Craft Outlet. And then we're coming in with an 1.5 inch. And this is blue and white candy on a blue, kind of a glitter ribbon. And then we're doing the blue snowflakes and silver snowflakes on white. All of these are from Craft Outlet. So if you like this combo, that's where you can pick that one up. And I think we're doing, yes. Is that the way I'm doing it? Let me look. Sometimes it's hard to pick. Yeah, I think so. Although, I'm like both on blue. Yeah, we'll do those. Okay, so we're going to do these together. So we're going to I'm going to try to like embellish everything all at the same time. So fold them in half. The 2.5 inches are cut to 14 inches, and then obviously the 1.5 inches are cut to 19-inch pieces. So I'm going to put the 2.5 inch down. Then I'm going to take our 1.5 inches with the candy print, and we're going to put those, fold it in half, and then match up our dovetailed ends. Go up about 2 inches from the top, kind of pinch in. That's going to go right in the center of this, and we'll give it a couple twists. We'll open this up. We always have to right side one of our ribbon tails, just based on how we lay it in there. So, and then I situate it to where you can see both. Then we are going to snip those off, and we are going to add little glitter balls to this. I guess I should have put more glue in my glue gun. So just squeeze a little dot on there, and right where the dot is, slide that dot right onto your pipe cleaner. That'll stay nice and glued. And then we're going to do white. Same thing. Little dot of glue. Slide that right onto our pipe cleaner. And then that's the way we're adorning that one. Then with this one here, with our silver, same thing. We're going to go ahead and plop these in. Fan that out. We'll put in our snowflake ribbon as a half bow. Pinch those in. Spin it. We're going to open this one up. And then this one's also going to get some extra added bonus. Actually, they both are. Let's save that. Let me just get these going around. They're both getting extra embellishments. Let me trying to get my dark blue ones too. So we're going to do dark blue on this one. And then we'll do a white here. So right now at Hobby Lobby, I just heard on the radio, because I was listening to Christmas music, I believe Hobby Lobby's Christmas is now, is it not, 60% off? So you can pick up these little scatters and fillers. They have them in the seasonal section. I don't think they have the light blue, but you can check. And I just store all mine in little, what do they call them, Glad containers, because they're rectangle or square, and you can stack them. So for me, that's a good win on the storage. They have pretty Mardi Gras color in that mesh. Really, Cheryl? I haven't looked. Linda says I have a house full for Thanksgiving. Just saw it. Plus my sister-in-law, 2 big dogs. She brings her dogs. Wow. That is a lot to handle. The edge of the mesh, Kelly, it's a light blue with a white snowflake on it. So it's just like ribbon, kind of woven through there. And it's just a light blue with little white snowflakes on it. So it kind of goes with our Jack Frost theme. Oop. Okay. We're doing blue. And then dark blue. So I'm just alternating the same colors that I did with like my pipe cleaners. The white, light blue, and then dark blue. So I'm putting these little glittered edges on it because it has to be frosty. Because it's a Jack Frost wreath. And back to the silver. Just like so. Put our ribbon in. Yes, 2 big dogs. Saturday is Support Small Business Day. Yes, it is, Kay. I always say, and then Sunday, I call it Super Savings Sunday. So it's like, oh, last chance. Like Sunday, it's funny. They have, you know, Black Friday, and then they have Support Small Business Saturday, and then there's Cyber Monday, and it's like, well, what is Sunday? Because Sunday's sandwiched in between them. So I say it's Super Savings Sunday. So we're back to white. And then our blue. So we keep the same colors rotating around. Susan says my favorite color is blue. Isn't that pretty? And then you guys are just confirming that Hobby Lobby is 60% off on their Christmas. Kay has a craft show on Saturday. Well, let's hope that a lot of people are supporting that. I would put some signage up that says support small business. You know? And then always include signage if you guys have the ability to take credit card payments, because a lot of people when they're shopping don't know if the vendors are strictly cash only or whether they have the ability to take credit card payments. If you do, you are likely to make way more money than if you don't. So think of options like Venmo, Zelle. I'm trying to think of what some of the others are. Where people, you know, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, if you have the ability to do all that. I think it's really hard for vendors right now to just go and be like, well, no, we're just cash only. Because a lot of people don't realize, like when you're walking around a vendor event, you don't realize what all's there. And so you may have spent what little cash you had someplace, and then all of a sudden they get to you and they see something they like, but they're all out of cash. And they don't see a sign, so they generally don't ask. So that's why I said if you have signage, make sure you like really push for the fact that you have the ability. Because the minute I see that when I'm going to a vendor event or a craft show, if they take credit card payments, I'm like, oh, that just, yeah, I spent all my cash, but we can still support them because they take credit card payments. And I'm probably more likely to spend more there than what I did. See, Susan said out of 12 sales I had at my show, 10 were credit cards, 2 were cash. So yes, we have to get into that credit card option. And if you guys don't know this already, if you go into the groups pinned or announcement tab at the top, scroll all the way over to the discounts and other helpful links tab or document. If you click on there, if you don't already have a square, you can get a square. Those little things that most of us see at our hairdresser salons when we go to pay for our hair. They have the little slide square. And then they take that payment. If you use my link, you get the first $1,000 in sales fee-free up to 6 months. So you have 6 months to generate that much in sales or your first $1,000. So that's huge because that means that if they charge 2.5% in merchant fees, you get it all. They don't keep any of it. So make sure you sign up for that. And make sure that you're following the link that's there. Because you know, like most of those places, they're always like, hey, click over here and you can, you know, add this to your order. And then it ends up costing stuff when initially, if you just followed the prompts, it would just be free. Cheryl says, I haven't done a craft show yet. I need to come up with ways to display the wreaths. Well, there's lots of us here that have done the craft shows. So it just depends. We always end up taking more than we want. I find that if you just get the closet organizers, like that are at Home Depot or Lowe's, you know, the white ones, you get 3 of them. You can zip tie them together, like that form a little triangle, and that you can hang your wreaths. It usually supports like 3 wreaths per side on your closet organizer. It just depends on how big your wreaths are. If it's outside, you can put up the easy ups, and then on the easy up, you can get like S hangers from Home Depot or Lowe's, and then you can hang them off the sides of your easy up. And then put all your other stuff like lantern swags and bottle bouquets and bows on your table. Or if you have the ability to bring a whole bunch of ribbon, you could say, bows made while you wait. Pick your color. That kind of thing. Okay. Light blue. I like these colors together. It's a really good winter. They went really well when we did the snowman in these colors, the white, the light blue, and the dark blue. That sold like right away. I think the color's popular. It's very frosty. And then all that dark blue will get broken up here in a minute. Once we get all the way around, because that's kind of where we're filling that space. Because once we plop our sign and our bow in it, and then we're going to add some embellishments. And we're going to put in some flex tubing. We're just going to make it all sparkle. This is one of those designs where it's like kitchen sink. Everything in it. Embellishments, balls, snowflakes. This is a process I do when I'm making wreaths by myself. I'll just take the time and, you know, glue them one at a time. Just like this, instead of just plopping them on and then coming back, taking them off, and then doing that whole process. What do you guys think of the ribbons, though? These are all new this year. I am in love. I ordered 2 of every single one except this because this was their last roll. So I wanted to make sure I had enough for next year. Or if this sells out really fast, you can make another one. Kay says, my husband made me 2 display stands. And Melissa says, I can share pictures of what she did at the one she did in November. See, our group is just amazing. Everyone here is all like, hey, I'll show you what I used. I'll show you what worked for me. I only did one craft. No, I did a couple craft shows. In where we live, they just weren't that successful. People were looking for like $25 to $40 wreaths. So if you came along and a vendor was making them for $25 or $40, they pretty much sold out of all their stuff. Even though you're like thinking, well, customers will be savvy. They'll be able to tell that, you know, theirs are see-through. And sometimes people are just looking just to put a wreath on their door. But don't be tempted to lower your price just for the sake of making a sale. There's somebody out there. We just got to get them connected to see your stuff somehow. So that's where asking family and friends to share your, you know, photos, share your business page can pay off. Let's bend you around. So white and light blue for this one. And this helps me. Like, even though right now it's dark out, because I'm in the shop and I have all these huge fluorescent lights, I can take the photos in the shop, get that out there. I don't even have this one listed yet. But it will when I'm finished. Yeah, Miss Melissa says she'll show you the pictures. She did hooks and a clothes drying stand. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Susan says, I have one on December 5th that limits me to a 16-inch table. So I'm using 4 tall easels, 3 small easels on the table, and hopefully 5 on the floor. Oh, 1 6-inch table. Is that 1 6-inch table or 1 6-foot table? But think you mean 6 foot. Oh, okay. You reconfirmed 6 foot table. I was like, oh, yeah, that's going to be challenging. Just take advantage of all that space. I even had a portfolio done. Like, you know, just go to Staples with a whole bunch of pictures of designs that you've made in the past. And tell people that you're open, you know, to doing custom orders. These are some other things that you've done in the past that have already sold, which is why I always recommend that, you know, sometimes you guys just don't know what to post because you only have, like, I don't know, 10 wreaths available. But I'm like, well, but you had all these other ones, and you're like, yeah, but I sold them. And I'm like, show people what you can do. And a lot of times they'll reach out to you and say, so I like the picture that you posted earlier today. How do I go about ordering one? And then that leads you into negotiations for sale. So that's why we take our portfolio, so we can show what we have. Right? Melissa says, I printed pictures of mine and put them in a photo album and had a sign about custom orders. That's awesome. And don't forget, you can do that on your social media pages too. Designs that have worked well for you. I do this every year. When something sells out, and, you know, my whole thing is I don't make the same wreath twice. But the problem is also, if it sells, why do I just stop? Like farmhouse, like chicken. You can make, oh my word, blue chicken wreaths, black chicken wreaths, red chicken wreaths, tan chicken wreaths. It's like if those sell out really quick, just make another one. Don't stop there. Keep going. You know, if you did black and white, do red and white. If you did those, do, you know, tan and burgundy and tan. We always stop. And I'm like, why do I do that? When the momentum is there, keep going. Don't stop. Same thing with angels. Angels are like the only thing on some cases that I will duplicate. When they sell out, I just stop. Instead of going, hey, that one sold out, make another one. Don't sabotage your efforts. Okay, so let me close this up so I don't accidentally knock my scatters on the floor. Let's go ahead and put our bow together, and then we'll come back and finish and embellish. Set this aside. I always put the bow recipe back out. If you guys don't know, and I think I may have posted this into the group. If I haven't, I will repost it. I have the bow recipe on yields an 11-inch based on the loop size bow. So let's look at all the colors that we have. Let's see how we can mix these up. I think I want this one on the top. So I'm also introducing this light blue glitter, which is from Joann's, and then also this blue with the white that is very similar to the ribbon that is through the mesh. So let's do it like this. I like that color combination. I always take a moment and just sort my ribbons. That way I can grab them and just load them in the Bowdabra. So having that figured out ahead of time just makes the process so much easier. There we go. So, dovetail edge. Bring your wired edges together. You're going to cut from the folded side to the wired point. And then depend on how deep you like that V is how your starting point on the ribbon. So this one's going to be 10 inches in. Going to use the bow dabber. We're going to twist and place that inside. I'm going to add 5.5 inch loop. So everything is twist and then put it inside the bow dabber. So there's 5.5, up and over. Let's make sure, 5.5, a little bit more. There we go. And then back out 10 inches. Do a dovetail edge. This one is done. Love this one for the Christmas balls. And then we'll do our plaid. I will put the materials list together for this one and get it up on our page so you guys will have all the item numbers and the measurements and everything. I'll get that done tomorrow. This will be 9.5 inches in. I'm going to twist, place inside. I'm going to do 5-inch loops. So this one has to come down just a bit. Right there at 5 inches. Up and over. Right at 5. Back out to 9.5. Dovetail edge. If you get into a habit, it's sometimes like you could almost do it and not lose your focus just because you know what comes next. Valerie says, I've done the same thing. Hold on. I had to up my prices this year because the cost of material going up. I was a little worried, but they're selling anyway. That was Cheryl. I've been asked to remake a sold design, so I do it. I just change the prices. Yes, everything is going up, and most people understand. Like, if they're... Everyone understands prices are going up. You know, everything has gone up. So, it's only normal. And I know sometimes you're just like, oh, but to raise the price by $5, it's okay. You know? Make sure you're covering yourself. So this is going to be 9 inches. It just started raining again. It was supposed to stop. But it's okay. I love it. 4.5 inches is our loop size. There we go. It's 4.5 the other side. I just wish they would have had candy pigs to match this in the blue and white. That would have been really pretty. Maybe they did and they just sold out because everything is expensive. Like the days, oh my god. So, I should have brought it in here. Has anyone been to Michael's lately? Michael's retail store. Like where they sell all the craft supplies. What have you guys noticed about Michael's ribbon? Please tell me I'm not the only one who noticed. Gone are the days of $3 ribbon rolls. Yep. You should have a pretty view from the garage doors in your shop. Oh, that's true. Right now it's just totally pitch dark though. There wouldn't be anything to see, Cheryl. I can show you during the day. What is... Okay, help me with the math. What is 7 yards? 7 yards. That's like 20, is it 21 feet? Besides it being much more expensive. You guys are right, though. So, the cost has gone up. And the quantity in which you buy has gone way down. Like, last year, Michael's was selling 25-foot rolls of ribbon. And this year, it's 20 feet of ribbon. Which is just like, seriously? Right, Peggy. More expensive, less yardage, lesser quality. Right. Exactly. So now, that has to drive our prices up. Right, Cheryl says quality's not as good. And it comes through even the same on Craft Outlet. Like when I ordered my Valentine's ribbon, it was all like that polyester blend. And the days of like this, where it's a really nice canvas, those days are going. Thank God we have places like Craft Outlet that, you know, if I have to pay $7 or $8 for a roll of ribbon, at least I'm getting a 30-foot roll. I'm not having to sacrifice 10 feet of ribbon. That's a lot of ribbon. Cheryl says, I like the Joann's ribbon the best this year. I have not even made it over to Joann's. That is shocking. I did not make it to Joann's this year. The one of the Arizona stores ribbon was 70% off on Michael's, and they had a lot of it left. Let's see. Susan says another good thing about the way you do the bow dabber, turning it each time, then I don't have to remember which way to make the twist in the middle. I don't know when I start. That just like that process evolved organically on its own. I don't know why I started doing it. And Steve says it's so that my ribbon doesn't get twisted. Like I have it sitting here. I'll measure. And it'll be like, okay, here's 8 inches. Do the twist. Place it inside. And then I'm automatically twisting. I turn it. So everything's always on the left side. It's not that I'm left-handed. Measuring. There's my 4 inches. And then see, like right now, just by twisting, it keeps my ribbon roll from getting twisted. And then back out to 8. I love this ribbon. That was Joann's, I think. This is 2019, and it was a 25-foot roll. So, who was it that said they liked, was it, Cheryl says Joann's ribbon. So, has theirs gone down? Are they selling 20-foot rolls of ribbon? I know their Deco mesh went down to 18 foot instead of 30, which is really depressing. Last one. Yeah, the light blue glitter ribbon. I have glitter ribbon in almost every color. That's like my other Swiss dot, solids, and then glitter ribbon for the holidays. So this last one's going to be 7.5 inches for our tail, 3.5 inches for the loop. This will finish this bow out. So let's make sure we're at 3.5 inches. Yep. And 3.5 inches is generally about the smallest I will go on most ribbon as far as loop size. There's that one. It's going to be time to make some more angels. Don't forget to make angels for New Year's. You can make a New Year's angel. Gold, black, and white. A lot of times, too, if you go to Hobby Lobby in their scrapbooking section, you can get the little embellishments, like the little gingerbread that I used on my gingerbread angels. You can get those and put them in the center of your angels instead of bells if you want. Like, look for a little clock. That'd be super cute. Or like a hourglass. So we always spin. I'm always looking for ways to ease how we make things as we get older. Let's grab the there we go. Poor board is taking a beating. Look what happened. It started cracking from the cold, and then it got down here, and it was so tightly pushed together, it actually split the wood. A use and a purpose. So I'm going to keep using this until, I don't know, it just falls apart. And then I'll just probably have Steve make me one. So, fluffing. 24 by 24 by 1 inch thick piece of wood. It doesn't have to be this elaborate. You can just go to Home Depot or Lowe's in their pre-cut lumber section, buy one, get a little C-hook, screw it into the center, and then you have a fluff board. Because for me, fluffing my boards, I always wanted flat, big space, instead of like, I think the fluff box that they make is like a 12-inch fluff box. It's heavy, and it's the bottom. This is our top stack, bottom stack. So we start at the bottom and pull our tail and our loop. Then we already have this one here. I want to pull this one around so that our loops are opposite from tails. Then we go here, and we're going to pull the loop to the left, tail, come on, to the right, and then flipping, we want to pull our tail over here, and our loop to the side. So that what it's doing is it's staggering our loops and our tails. It's alternating our colors. So now we're going to do the same, just follow the same pattern. Well, actually, I started here. So I'm going to follow that. Go to the other side. Pull them out. And you don't have to fluff this way. This is the way that I do it for this particular bow recipe. So it's kind of like if you're making a recipe, this is the way I make it. But you can change your ingredients. So we're going to go here and here. Back over here. We're going to pull this one. And then that. Trying to separate all my tails. Trying to keep them away from the loops, and then here and here, and then here and here. Okay. Note to self. How do I know? Because Kat went to pull all her ribbons from her garland over the last couple of years, and when I take them off, I'm just, like, they're pre-made bows, I just wrap them, you know, pipe cleaner, and I just threw them in the bin with everything else, just as they were. Now what I'm struggling with is where there's creases in the loops. It's really hard to get the creases out. So when you're storing your bows for the season, if they're not on the wreath, then again, if they're on the wreath, this is probably a good thing to do as well. Store everything flat, because it's so much easier to fluff just to remove this one crease here than it is to try to remove and get all the wrinkles out everywhere else along your ribbon. So when storing, store flat. Even when I'm pre-making these for sale, they get stored flat and they go in a tub. So we're taking the top two, and then we're taking the next two, and I'm just kind of pairing these where I want them to kind of fall. You know, they're always falling in between something. Like I try to, you know, have something in the middle, off to the side, And then this one is going to go in between these two. And then this one will go in between these two. So it's so much easier to do it this way. And then get rid of that crease. And you can mix your tails in. You can cut your tails down. Don't be bound by, well, I can't, this is just that, I can't really do anything with it. Oh, yes, you can. You're the designer. You decide where you want things to fall. And then to put the curls back in, we just do this. And that is much easier when they're full iron, but I have glitter in it, and some of them are like, I don't know how well they would do with a flat iron. Now that our ribbon, quality isn't there as it had been in the past, but there's our bow for our Jack Frost wreath. So we're going to take this off, same way we put it on. I'm going to set this off to the side, move our board, bring the wreath back. And here we go. All right, let's prep our sign really quick. So I'm going to set this off to the side. So a couple things when you're prepping your sign. I always say it's good to take the stickers off, but sometimes that can be a pain depending upon how long they've been on. So get a little scraper tool. You can get it at Amazon. I think it's less than $10 for 2 of them with razor blades. Or you could go to AutoZone, Chief Auto Parts. They're like windshield scrapers or something like that for cleaning your windshield. So we just get them started and then they just peel right off. Just like that. Just clean it up. Looks so nice. And then I have gone back to adding my business cards to the back because customers have told me that they forget who they buy a product from, why they shouldn't have. Kind of wondering why my glue gun, there it is. The light wasn't working. It is, I just can't see it. So this will allow them to remember who they bought it from. So just hot glue your business card on the back. I'm going to remove the twine. We are going to staple because our sign is 1/4 inch thick. And let's see. Let's do royal blue again. Royal blue for the back of our sign. You guys, I can't wait to show you. Okay, so I'm just going to do a top and a bottom. And everyone's got their own way of how to attach a sign. I just prefer staple gun. I don't get into the messiness of adhesive cable ties. I just do it this way. You could crazy glue, hot glue on top of the staples. But I always find you just put a twist in them so they don't pull, slide out. You guys ready to see what it looks like? Oh, it's amazing. Even if you added nothing else to this. Look. Look how pretty that is. Oh, and if only you guys could see it with all the sparkles. The sign's got tons of glitter in it. It's the same glitter colors throughout our ribbon, and the Deco mesh is just gorgeous. So, let's see. How do we want to do this? Do we want to do? Ooh, I'm loving that. Look how pretty. What if we just put that at the bottom? So we want to make sure we don't impact the sign. So there's a couple options. You can put it at the bottom. You could put it at the top. I'll put that right at the top. Just like that. I'm thinking now the top. Every time I move it, I'm like, oh, I like it there. We can put it in the center. Kind of have our bow kind of graze the corners a bit. There we go. Just like that. I think I like it at the top. Who said it was good at the bottom? Cheryl? If we do that, then I'm going to have to change the way I do my bow. So I was thinking I liked it at the top. So let me see. And just outline that. And like it. I like it like that. Okay, so I'm gonna do it that way. So I'm gonna set my bow to the side. I am going to pull back just a touch of my mesh right here at the bottom. No, not at the bottom. Let me just make sure we put this one because, oh yes, sorry. At first I was thinking, no, we're gonna put it at the bottom. No, we're putting the bow at the top. So pull just a touch of the Deco mesh out of the way so we can feather edge our sign. And for those of you that are new, there's a couple new people in our group. I'll show you what I mean by feathering our edge. So I am going to get that situated where I want it to be. Switch that in. These all get readjusted too. All the bows to the side. Okay. Then we're going to do this right into the center. And yay, I can still hit my frame, just barely. We're going to do the same thing here on the outside edge. Grab just a little bit of that. Just pull it down to the depth you want your sign. Okay. Then, what I'm saying by feathering the edge is right now, if you don't do anything to your sign, you can see the defined shape of the sign. Feathering the edge just simply means take a little bit of your mesh from around your design. Sometimes you have to kind of pull it out a bit. You don't want to pull too much. Just enough to feather your edge. You just want to blur the edge of where the sign ends. Okay, so just like that. I'm going to do it right here. Same thing. If you need to grab a little bit of this, just grab a touch from the bottom, pull it out. There we go. Okay. So we can still read everything. It's nice and pretty. And we have broken up that hard line for our sign as it goes around. Okay. Now the stuff at the top is a little bit different. We want to take this and we want to tuck this underneath because this is our bow area. I know it kind of seems like, didn't we just fluff all that? If we don't do this, our bow and its tails will float in the air. So I'm just taking all this and tucking this. So we have a space right in here for our bow to make itself a home. Okay, and it's the reason why I build my bows the way I do, so that I know where the edges or the loops of my ribbon will be and where the tails are going to wind up. So I'm going to feed my pipe cleaner through. And I want to get this secured down to the depth I want it to go. For the most part, you will never pull it all the way down to your frame. It's going to kind of float on the top. And then we're going to let the sides kind of cascade out and around and down. Okay, let's turn it the right way so that we have a gorgeous look to this. Just like that. We can totally see the sign. We can see everything about everything that's on here. So I'm going to pick this up just a touch so you guys can actually see. That's what it looks like. Okay. Now, we are going to take some flex tubing. I'm going to add blue flex tubing to the white. So I'm going to do about a 4-inch tail. And then these are about 4-inch loops, meaning they're about 4 inches in length. So really quickly, I'm going to go through, and wherever we have white ribbon, we are going to add some more bling to that. Okay, 4 inches. See, this is maybe it's like 6. No, 7. Yeah, more like 7. And this is tinsel flex tubing. You can get this at Craft Outlet as well. It's just going right inside the pipe cleaner, just under our loop. One good twist. And that brings that blue back out to the outside. Got one over here. When you're measuring your flex tubing, don't stretch it. Otherwise your dimensions will come out way weird. So remember, I said this was our kitchen sink wreath, which means it's going to have a lot in it, but it's all going to make sense. Okay, there's that one. Let's grab the one over here. So 4. This is what I was going to do before we started the bow. We can still see all the ribbon. You can still see all the mesh. I am not covering up anything. Got one here. And I know it's super simple to feel like, well, there's one under the bow. No one's really going to look. I know. So to me, that's just substandard quality. So if I'm going to make it everywhere, it's going to go everywhere. So right underneath here, we'll add our last one in the blue. Oops. Just in case somebody decides to go looking and see, well, they went here, here, and here, but did they go all the rest of the way? And then we're going to take silver and we're going to do the same thing on the blue. So we're doing the exact same process. this, let's see, I think I had one right here. Yep, right underneath. So I'm going to start here. Open that up. And then go all the way around with our silver. Oops. One complete twist, open. Then we have some cute what do you guys think so far? I've done the same thing, Cheryl, putting them on the lower left side. Sometimes it's just odd because, you know, we get creatures of habit, right? We get into the routine of always doing, like for me, it's always upper left. And so sometimes just varying that a little bit is nice. Lots and lots and lots of bling. Thank you, Audrey. Here and here, 2 more spots. It is definitely a full and beautiful wreath. But sometimes I find myself getting into habits like, you know, always measuring the same style. You know, doing ruffles, doing tails, doing half bows. Here's a sign, here's a bow. It's like basically the same wreath. We just changed the colors. And so I'm trying to push myself out of that comfort zone of doing that. So that's why I was like, okay, how can we mix this up without, like I didn't want to put curls in here because then curls doesn't really allow me to have the accessibility I want. Okay, everything is in there for that. Now, like there could be any more. Yes, there could be. So I do have some snowflakes. I don't know why I have a gold one in my hand, but I have white and I have blue. I just want to remove the little hanger for the part, but we can stick some like in here. So we have blue, we have, I'm trying to stick them in where there's a natural break in the mesh. I'll probably put one, I might fix one right there. I love the blue. The blue are like my favorite. And I don't know where I had gotten these. These were in my stash that I've had for eons. So just like that. We'll add that one there. And then we'll tuck this one in down here. Like so. So we'll have a couple snowflakes at the bottom. Or, let's see. Yeah, we need to put them at the bottom. Because if I put one here, that's a little too big. So we are going to glue them. What is up with my glue gun? There we go. We'll be waiting for our glue gun momentarily. I must have changed my wreath up and forward. I inadvertently unplugged my power strip. So I'm gonna take the little loops out of these, and then the last thing we're gonna add, we have a couple options, but I had specifically loved these because I only have a trio of 3. These are from Michaels. So long ago that Michaels has already gone through a SKU number change 6 different times. So these are more than 6 years old. But I was thinking we'd stick some of these, like I'd put one there, put one inside our bow, and then finally add one to the other side. So if you go to look this SKU up and it says no item found, it's because it's 6 years old. And I don't know who would make them anymore. So I'm going to put one up in here because it's kind of like a little frosty swirl. But then that will be the last. Alrighty. Susan says I gotta go. We'll watch the rest on the replay. All I'm gonna do is glue this stuff in. And yes, ma'am, you will be set. So just like that is how we are going to finish this design. We're gonna tuck these down here in the bottom. This will go down here in the bottom as soon as my glue is hot enough. And then that is it. That is how this design is gonna finish. And it'll be finished, complete, done. So what do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you like all the love and all the fun we put in this design? So I don't think I'm going to be here on Friday for crafting on the public group. I think I'm going to resume on Sunday, and then we'll be back in our group Monday and Tuesday. Just because we have so much to do before the holidays are up. So that's basically it in a nutshell. I just have to glue everything in place. But I'm going to let you guys go so you don't have to stay and watch me any longer. And you guys all have a very safe and blessed Thanksgiving. And I will see you back in the public group on Sunday. And if you join me on Sunday, if not, I will see you back in our private group on Monday. So have a great Thanksgiving, everyone. Stay safe, drive safe, and I'll see you back then on Sunday in the private group or public group. Bye, everyone.